I would like to call this city council meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Mr. Clerk, you can call the roll.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Present.
Councilwoman Iguodara,
Here.
Councilwoman Wilson, Councilwoman Julian,
Here.
Councilman
This
Stevens,
meeting is being
Here.
recorded.
Vice Mayor Leon,
Here.
Mayor Harris. You have a quorum.
Let's go ahead and stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance. Councilman Stevens.
God our Father, we thank you for your grace and mercy towards us. We thank you for all the many blessings that you've bestowed upon our city and our lives. Father, we ask that you continue to bless us, that you keep us safe, and give us your knowledge, your wisdom, and your understanding as we get ready to discuss news that affect your people's business. It is all these things we ask in your Son Jesus Christ's name. I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Clerk, I'd like to make a motion to excuse the mayor.
All right, thank you. Motion.
Second.
Been moved to second. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Do we have any minutes for approval?
Excuse me, Vice Mayor, go ahead and withdraw the minutes from the agenda.
Okay, withdrawn. Is there any add-ons?
At this time, there's no add-ons provided to the council, no, sir.
Is there anything anybody would like to pull?
Yes.
Councilwoman Julian?
I'd like to pull item 11.1 and 11.2.
Anything else anybody would like to pull? With that, I need a motion on the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All signify, ready to vote, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're on to special presentations. Councilwoman Julian, you have a special presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. We're waiting for the individuals to come in. Good evening. I am Councilwoman Linda Julian, and in honor of Haitian Heritage Month, my office had a Haitian Heritage essay contest, and this contest was for students attending public and or private schools in the city of Miami Gardens, middle-aged students as well as high school students. They were granted the opportunity to participate and write an essay about a Haitian American person who has made contributions to modern day society and to America as a whole that inspires them. And so tonight, I am happy to announce the essay winners, and they are here with us this evening. Third place winner is Brennis Bostic. Brennis attended Norland High School and just recently graduated the 12th grade. And his essay I will read as follows. As a Haitian American who inspires me and continues to break barriers personally and systematically is my close and cherished friend and classmate, Laura Francois, a 2021 graduating senior of Miami Norland. First meeting Ms. Francois my sophomore year, I immediately fell in love with her gentle, take charge attitude. Despite having endured many hardships throughout her life and high school career, she has shown resilience that is unmatched, earning her a sense of maturity and strength that is unmatched for someone who is only 18. Laura constantly breaks the barriers of a society with century-long stereotypes, addressing the wrongs of society by challenging the ignorant views about a woman's role and ability, not only as a woman, but as a strong Haitian American woman. She is constantly speaking up about rights for girls and women in class and amongst her peers. As a young male, I find comfort in knowing that I can look to Laura for inspiration when most of the time we tend to only turn to adults for support. She serves as a vessel of perseverance and hope for young people and a beacon of hope for all Haitian Americans. In the fall, Laura will be attending Florida International University, majoring in biology with dreams of one day becoming a doctor to serve her community as a fierce female Haitian American doctor who will continue to break barriers and show the world that ça ou fait, c'est li ou ouais, which translates to what you do is what we see. What you do is what you see. Brennis, congratulations on your essay, and I'd like to bring you and your family up, and I'd like to ask my colleagues to join me so that we can present him with his check and take some photos. Our second place winner is Sanaya Bieneme, who attends Monsignor Edward Pace High School and is in the ninth grade. Sanaya writes, my aunt, Nadege Green, is a Haitian American individual who inspires me. Nadege Green is the director of community research and storytelling for the Community Justice Project, where she devotes a great deal of her time to the Little Haiti related programs, a place where her heart is deeply ingrained. In addition to being a single dedicated mother to two young boys, Ms. Green is a benevolent community worker. She has overcame many obstacles, the greatest being a Black Haitian independent woman living in America doing it all. There have been many moments where her abilities were questioned or undermined because of who she is and what she looks like. Through all of that, she has found time to serve her community in many aspects. When asked to state her favorite things to do when she is not working, Ms. Green answered, for fun, I dig through archives to unearth the history of Black Miami-Dade to make it more visible. If you know Nadege, that sounds like Nadege. Her enjoyment in uprooting our culture, especially in the Little Haiti community, is inspiring to me. Nadege Green has also created and continues to sponsor a Haitian medicinal herb garden at Morningside K-8 Center with the students. Overall, Nadege Green is an inspiration not only to me, but to many other young women in our community. She has advocated for many in her time as a journalist and continues to do so in her research and storytelling. I have never been more proud to call Nadege Green my aunt. I will tell you, I know Nadege Green personally. So I didn't get a chance to read these essays until yesterday. Staff went through the process, et cetera, and provided me with everything. And when I read this essay, it really touched me because I know Nadege, and she and I are both Miami fellows. And to know Nadege is to love Nadege. She has a heart for the people, and she's really out there making sure that our voices are heard and that Black people are celebrated. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Sanaya Biename and her aunt, Nadege Green, and the whole family to come and accept this award. And colleagues, please join me. Our first place award goes to Christine Pierre, who is in the seventh grade attending Norland Middle School. Christine Pierre writes about Garcelle Bouveau. And she says, Garcelle Bouveau is a Haitian American actress, author, model, producer, and now reality TV star. She went through some tough times during her lifetime and overcame these obstacles. I'm inspired by her today because she is a strong Black woman who provides support to those in need. Garcelle was a single mother who raised 3 children on her own, which was one of the biggest challenges for her at the time. Her struggles did not stop her from becoming the woman that she is today. Her career started when she moved to Miami at the age of 16 in an attempt to pursue a modeling career. Moreover, 3 years later, she landed her first acting role in the film Coming to America. She was featured in many other acting roles, including The Jamie Foxx Show, Spider-Man Homecoming, and NYPD Blue. Garcelle provided support for children in Haiti that needed assistance and advocated against child trafficking. This kind act inspires me to give back when I am older to the less fortunate in the city I was born in, Saint Louis du Nord, Haiti. Garcelle is a generous Haitian American who helped Haitian citizens during the earthquake in 2010. She is a role model for everyone, especially the Haitian American community, including me. She has appeared on various magazine covers and currently co-hosts the daytime show The Real. She is known and loved by many who knows her and what she does. Christine, congratulations. Come on, that's your family. Miss Mitchell. So Miss Mitchell is here, and she is Christine's teacher. See, it takes a village. It takes a village. All right, at this time, we are going to present an award for the May and June Emerging Small Businesses. And so at this time, okay, great. At this time, I would like to recognize La Mia Pizza and Wings. La Mia Pizza and Wings is owned by Juan Paliason, who is, and La Mia Pizza and Wings is a pizzeria that was established in the city of Miami Gardens almost 7 years ago. Situated on 183rd Street and 41st Avenue, it has been a popular eatery since its inception. Each meal is made and served with lots of love. Since the beginning, La Mia Pizza and Wings has fed the community and provided food to local schools in Miami Gardens. During the COVID-19 pandemic, they have provided meals to local hospitals and charities as well. They believe that God has provided them with the resources to help people whom are in need. I am happy to present La Mia Pizza and Wings with the City of Miami Gardens Emerging Small Business Award for May 2021.
Is that my sister passed away, and you guys know that with COVID.
Yeah.
And he lives right down, I mean, his business is around the corner. And the guys that work there knew my sister and my nephew and my niece when they would come there for the fresh bread, okay? I didn't eat none of the bread, I ate all of the bread. But when they found out, you know, they gave us a significant discount on the food that we purchased for our guests. And I am forever grateful for you guys and your connection, but that's the kind of business this is.
That's right, and that's why they're getting this award today.
Don't go to my seat. We were trying to get our steps in.
There's one more? Okay.
Congratulations. Okay, last but certainly not least, this second award is being presented to Derek Smith of Supreme Roofing and Contracting. Derek T. Smith is a servant leader who is driven by humility, faith, and gift, an overcomer of a neighborhood where the odds of survival, high school graduation, or any pipeline towards success are low. Mr. Smith beat the odds and built a life that pays homage to his humble beginnings. A Carroll City chief and high school star athlete, growing up in unincorporated Opelika, football served as an outlet from the reality of his circumstances at home. Born into a poor working-class home, Derek learned about hard work, perseverance, and passion as the keys to success. Today, Mr. Smith frequents local middle and high schools to mentor at-risk youth and athletes, giving them valuable tools and skills for seeking professional employment and entrepreneurship. For over 15 years, Mr. Smith's business, Supreme Roofing and Construction, has served South Florida with a spirit of excellence and pride for its community. Recognized in 2021 by BNI Success Group, Pembroke Pines Charter, as the shining star, Mr. Smith continues to blaze trails and empower our communities one build at a time. Mr. Smith leads the 2021 Hurricane Preparedness Clinic in collaboration with Home Depot and Miami Gardens Councilman Robert Stevens III, my councilman, which is a series of information sessions held regularly to provide home inspections and tips to residents in preparation of the potential damages and recovery during hurricane season. While helping those with homes is his vocation, helping those without homes is equally as important. Supreme Roofing and Construction, along with its employees and family members, all lend their helping hands during annual holiday food and toy drives, where they prepare and distribute care packages, including food, personal care items, clothing, and toys for kids and families that are experiencing homelessness and hardships. Since the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, Derek has donated a generous amount of personal protective equipment to help protect the residents of Miami Gardens. Additionally, Mr. Smith has been blessed to be able to donate 3 construction and roofing services at no cost to businesses and residents in need this year. They serviced the Pink and Blue Children's Academy, located at 1840 Northwest 152nd Terrace, right here in Miami Gardens, along with 2 struggling families in this city. It goes without saying that Mr. Smith is a community champion and he advocates for the vulnerable. Mr. Smith would be remiss if he did not acknowledge his greatest accomplishment, which is his family, his daughters Zion and Joy, and his wife, Auntie Nuke, who is a Broward School's instructional facilitator. Every business deal, title, and accolade would mean nothing without them right beside him. Derek hopes to continue the great work in the community and looks forward to impactful collaborations and will provide resources that uplift and transform people's lives. I am happy to present Supreme Roofing and Construction with the City of Miami Gardens Emerging Small Business Award for June 2021. Derek, please come up.
donate the fund back to the city, and we want to match it, for all its, giveaway, not giveaway, but, back to drive for the kids.
See, this is, when I talk about people who are doing great things in our community, businesses who are in our community and giving back, this award also comes with a $1,000 check. He has decided to pour it back into our community. Derek, thank you so much. Thank you. Very sweet, very noble. Good to meet you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Julian. We have our former mayor and vice chairman of the county commissioner, vice chairman of the county board of county commissioners, Oliver Gilbert here. Would you like to bring us an update from Miami-Dade County, sir?
Oliver Gilbert, 111 Northwest First Street, Miami-Dade County, Suite 200. Good evening. I don't have an official update. I actually just had some time to waste, and I said I would just stop by and just check in on you all. So I don't have an official update. You all just keep the good work. You all recognized some wonderful students. Those were wonderful stories and wonderful businesses. And so please keep pouring into community like that. Pouring into community, it has a multiplier effect, because what you're doing is essentially building goodwill and people believing in themselves, whether it's a kid or a business. And that's kind of the Miami Gardens brand, us believing we can do it. So you just keep up the good work. I appreciate you all, and thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you. We're on to public comments. Are there any public comments, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we do have some comments through Zoom, and then we have some in-person comments. They'll be coming in one at a time.
Okay. We got the cards.
Jean's gonna bring it for.
We have Mr. Angelo Garcia of 16330 Northwest 45th Avenue. He is here to discuss the potholes, graffiti, and that has been ongoing for a long time. You may go, sir.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to say good evening to everyone in this entire chamber. What brings me here today is something pretty unique that I've been talking for quite some time. Every time I come here, I feel that my information is heard through here and out through here. And it's sad. It really is sad every time that I have to come and take my time to come and talk about the same issue over and over and over again. It disappoints me. I thought our last administration was actually not doing a very good job, but some of you here disappoint me. I'm not going to tell you names, but some of you here disappoint me. What brings me, like I said here today, is issues that I've brought to the attention of management, council in the past, to see nothing 2 years later, nothing. And by the way, I have reached out 3 times to my councilwoman. I don't even know who she is. I think her name is Katrina Wilson, whoever she is. And by the way, madame, I have called you 3 times. I have left you messages with your assistant 3 times to receive no calls from you. By the way, I had the honor and pleasure of reaching out to Mr. Stevens, wherever you are. Mr. Stevens, is he here? Okay. Did I speak to you today? And the gentleman heard all my concerns and said that he was willing to actually entertain so I could take him out so we can see some of the things that are going on. Folks, I'm serious. It is extremely important. Some of you, again, there's a lot of good people here, but there's a lot of people that are not doing their job here. I know that this diocese, I'm almost getting ready to wrap it up.
Thank you, Mr. Angelo.
Okay, great. Okay, beautiful. Well, I'll put it on. I'll put it on the social media so you guys can know a little more of what's going on. Thank you.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council people, staff. My name is Jennifer Nayhofer, and I reside in Lake Lucerne, Miami Gardens. And I am here
Can you
today.
state your address for the record?
Excuse me?
State your address for the record.
1731 Northwest 6th Street. And I am here because of a concern that we have in our community. I know that I have sent out some communication to Vice Mayor Leon via email, and they responded back to me about the Bennett Lifter Park. However, it has been years that our community has been fighting to get that park not renovated, but we want to have a new park like all the other parks. Our community has experienced an accident by which a child was trying to cross over the street years ago to go over to the other side to go to school. And because of that incident, it is my passion and the other neighbors to have that park in place. It is summertime. The kids don't have anywhere to go. They climb the fence because we have a park in the community that has been on the list for years since the previous administration. We will promise that that park was going to be fixed. The excuse that we always hear is permits, 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 permits. We were promised in January, there was a homeowners meeting. We were promised that the park was going to be ready by late summer. And look where we are in June, and nothing has been happening because according to the email, we're still waiting on permits. But yet, if you look around, other parks are being fixed. New things are coming up, new things are being fixed, but Lake Lucerne is being neglected. And we are not happy about it at all in our community. It's a small community. We need a park. We don't have to cross over to go to another park. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tamar,
I'm on behalf of Lake Lucerne as well, as relating to the parks.
Tamara, can you state your name and
Oh,
address?
my name is Tamar Nehofa. I live 1731 Northwest 206th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida 33056. And it's just from a minor's perspective that we do need a park because it's the only park that we can attend. And seeing that it's been closed off and now kids are coming out of COVID and we want to have fun. And, you know, we shouldn't have to cross over to Buccaneer Park. Yes, it's a nice park and stuff like that, but that's our home park. That's where we play at. That's where we grew up. That's where I grew up, living there since 2005. So I'm used to it. And it was just like, we need our park back. And you guys say that we're working on phase 2, but there's nothing happening. It's just closed off. And we're just trying to wonder like what's going on, the hold up. So thank you.
Thank you.
next, Mrs. Lynette Higginbottom. And would you please come forward, state your name and your address for the record? Thank you.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Lynette Hickenbottom, 20832 Northwest 25th Avenue, Miami Gardens. I am also here for the same issue. A few meetings ago, I did write in, and it was read by the clerk, concerning the park. My main concern is, well, there's several, but the main one is that the kids in our area have nowhere, most of them, to go. The area there is warded off. There's no grounds there. Everything is closed up because the building has been taken down. It's been taken down quite a while. We've had the manager, the assistant manager, everybody, the councilman, they're all coming and telling us all these things that are happening, and it's progressing, but I don't see any progress. We have 2 council people in our area, and for the last 3 meetings, I have not heard from either of them. I want to know why no one is answering us in reference to our park. I don't want to hear that they're doing this and there's doing this and the pandemic and all that. I see ribbons being cut and I get jealous. I've been there 30 plus years, and the kids, they go to the park in the summertime, they're able to have a little snacks and all this kind of stuff. Nobody, is thinking about us. I feel like we're just the step kids thrown in the corner we left on the side. I'm sorry to say, but that's how I feel. And I want this to be looked into, and I want an answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is R.D. Nickerson. I reside at 183, 20 Northwest 43rd Court, Miami Gardens, Florida. I'm actually here to support item 11.1. I believe that's by Councilwoman Shannon Campbell, designating the month of March as COVID-19 Memorial Day. It's a great resolution, and I do hope that the council does vote to pass this resolution. One of the things I may want to add on to that is maybe future council meetings that the city or management, we can come up with a way to support those families who may have lost a loved one or two during COVID-19, at least for the next 2 years or so. A house renovation project, something to help with back to school supplies if they lost the breadwinner of the household or things of the sort. So it's a great item. I'm here to support the item. I hope the council does vote in favor of it. And I hope the council also does get the opportunity to come up with a program to support those families, not just remember them. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Mr. Vice Chair,
Go ahead.
can we let the record show a correction? It's Shannon Igadora's item,
I'm
not
so
Shannon
sorry.
Campbell.
Yes, Madam Igadora, I'm sorry, Madam Councilwoman.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, we're going to Zoom now.
Yeah, we're going to Zoom. The first one is Gail Cunningham.
Good evening to everyone seated on the dais. I am Gail Olivia Cunningham. My address is 19001 Northwest 14th Avenue Road, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33169. Tonight, I'd like to thank those of you on the dais who have respectfully responded expeditiously to requests I've made via email, personal phone calls, text, or during meetings. You responded regarding discussion items I might want to answer to, answers, clarification, appointments, follow-up, follow-through, printed information, access to resources, Zoom meetings, and etc. A lot of work has been done, and a lot of work needs to be done. Communication and action makes a difference. Council persons, please continue to encourage the residents during your town hall meetings to sign up to receive information via Public Affairs Department. Stay safe and vigilant. Thank you and have a good evening.
All right, the next speaker is Rhea Hughes.
Good evening. It's often asked, my address is 3335 Northwest 180th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. It's often asked of you to be transparent. In being transparent, I'm asking of council members to present your ideas and or proposals to your constituents during your monthly Zoom meetings. For this allows your constituents to have a voice and provide input of important decisions which may affect their communities. This would also alleviate constituents from being blindsided when hearing on the agenda for the first time their council person sponsoring a consent and or resolution item of which they had no prior knowledge. I ask of you to set aside 15 or 20 minutes during your Zoom meetings to present your ideas and or proposals so your constituents have a voice to provide feedback. Thank you for your listening ear and have a good evening.
All right, Mr. Vice Mayor, that's all we have for in-person public comments, and those through Zoom. We have no written communication. That's it we have for public comment at this time.
Okay. Do we have any ordinance for first reading or second?
No, there's no ordinances on for first reading. There's no ordinances on for second reading. No resolutions, public hearing. We're on a consent agenda. Item 11.3, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the one-year renewal of invitation to bid number 16-17-034 in the amount of $65,000 for canal right-of-way landscape maintenance to Weed Away, Inc., authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders as needed for this purpose, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.4, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute subrecipient agreement with the Center for Family and Child Enrichment, CFCE, in paren, Jesse Trice Community Health System, JTCHS in paren, and MD Marketing Network, MDMN in paren, QQ Research Consultants, and UHI Community Care Clinic from the grant awarded to the city by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC in paren, for racial and ethnic approaches to community health, REACH in paren, providing for the adoption representation, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.5, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, accepting a $511,146.25 grant award from the Department of Health and Human Services Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC in paren, for racial and ethnic approaches to community health, REACH in paren, non-proton to April 1st, 2021. Authorize the city manager to execute any and all documents related to the acceptance of this award, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.6, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, establishing the City of Miami Gardens Weatherization Assistant Program in the amount of $250,000 to be funded through the state's Housing Initiative Program, SHIP and paren funds, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.7, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, to join the state of Florida and other local government units as a participant in the Florida Memorandum of Understanding and formal agreements implementing a unified plan, authorizing the city manager and city clerk to execute and test said memorandum of understanding, providing for instructions to the city clerk, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city attorney, and that is your consent agenda.
Can I have a motion on the consent agenda? So it's been moved in second. Ready for the vote?
This could be a voice vote.
Voice vote.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion passes 6-0. Item 11.1, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, designating the first Monday in March as COVID-19 Memorial Day in remembrance of those who have lost their lives, in honor of those who continue to suffer from the impact of the virus, and urging residents to continue taking preventative measures to mitigate the spread of the virus, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Shannon Iguodaro.
This was pulled by Councilwoman Julian.
No questions at this time, Mr. Vice Mayor. Please move forward.
I need a motion on this item. I need a motion on this item. It's been moved. Is there a second? Our motion fails for lack of second.
No,
Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
excuse me, a second. You didn't hear me?
I didn't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Should have taken off my mask.
It's been moved in second. You ready for the vote? Can you call a roll call on this vote?
Councilwoman Wilson, Councilwoman Iguodaro,
Yes.
Councilwoman Julian,
No.
Councilman Stevens,
No.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leon,
No.
motion fails 2-4. Yeah, motion fails 2-4. Item 11.2, a resolution of City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, allocating funds for Councilwoman Shannon Iguodaro special events account in an amount not to exceed $5,000 in support of the 48th Independence Celebration of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Shannon Iguodaro.
This item was pulled by Councilwoman Julian.
No questions at this time, Mr. Vice Mayor. Please move forward.
No question at this time. I need a motion on this item.
Motion.
It's been moved. I need a second.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Mr. Clerk, can you call the vote?
Councilwoman Iguodaro,
Yes.
Councilwoman Julian,
No.
Councilman Stevens,
No.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson, Vice Mayor Leon.
Vote no.
Motion fails 2-4. Now we're on to quasi judicial zoning hearings, Jennings disclosures.
Mr. Clerk, would you like to go over the Jennings disclosure? Or you want to swear me in
We
first?
have two items under quasi judicial, so if you would like, Vice Mayor, I can ask the Jennings disclosures once we get to those items, so we can have it clear for the record.
Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the quasi-judicial portion of the June 23rd City Council meeting. For those persons that will or may be speaking on an item on the agenda or commenting on any item, please stand up and be sworn in by the city clerk. For the applicants, your item will be called to order by agenda number and by the title of your request. When your item is called, please approach the microphone, and when addressed, please speak directly and clearly, stating your name and address for the record, and explain the reason for your request. Note that all exhibits presented to the mayor and the council will become part of the public record.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you provide this evening is true and correct to the best of your knowledge? I do. All right, you may be seated. All right, we're on to ordinances on for second reading and public hearing. An ordinance, item 13.2.1, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, amending Article 2, Administration, Article 10, Accessory Use and Structures, Article 15, Plan Corridor Development District, PCD in paren, and Entertainment Overlay District, EO in paren, of the City of Miami Gardens Land Development Code, providing for adoption representation, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing a severability clause, providing inclusion in code, providing an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. This item was before you at your last council meeting. There were a number of issues that were intertwined with this item moving forward. One dealing with workforce housing, the other dealing with some state changes to our Development Review Committee, and the other one that I actually raised an issue about regarding home-based business. The governor has not and did not sign the home-based business portion into law as of today. So before you is the amendment showing that based on that, you would have to make a motion on the information that was passed on the dais, which removes the home-based business information from the ordinance.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, is there public comments on this?
There's no pre-registered public comments or any written. Sorry, there's no pre-registered public comments, no in-person comments, or any written communication on this item.
Okay, so public comments are closed. So do we need to make a motion now? What do we need to do?
Yes, you'll need to make a motion to amend the item in accordance with the Amendment 1 document, removing all of the language related to home-based business.
So I make a motion with the said language of Nikisha. Mr. Clerk?
Duly noted.
Second, is there a second? It's been moved in second. Everybody signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I'm sorry, would there be a comment on this? Would I be able to make a comment or
Go
ask
ahead,
a question to
Mr.
the manager? At what point?
We voted already, so you can go ahead and make your comment.
Okay, well, before I wanted to know, removing the language from this item, what the change would happen? What would the change look like?
What the change would show, reflect on this, on it, will be the ordinance moving forward will not address the home-based businesses today.
Okay.
If something were to happen in the future, we can bring that item back to you. But based on the ordinance moving forward, that is the only part of the ordinance that would be removed from today.
And should the governor sign the bill, is that what we're meaning when you mentioned in the future? Is that something that we would come back and make an
That's
adjustments
correct.
to?
I would have
Okay,
to bring that
thank
back to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Councilman. And we're moving on, Mr. Clerk.
While you did guys approve the amendment of the ordinance, now we need a motion and a second on approving the ordinance as amended.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is this a vote for, can we
This is
vote?
a roll call vote
Roll.
as it's an ordinance.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Julian,
Yes.
Councilman Stevens,
Yes.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson, Councilwoman Iguodaro,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leon.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. All right, now we're on.
Excuse me, Vice Mayor, we still, Clerk, we still need to vote on the amended ordinance.
I think we just did that.
I think we did that first.
Yeah. According to my note, they
We sure
voted
was-
on approving the amendment to the ordinance.
As
and
well
this
as
la-
the amendment
Yeah.
of the ordinance? Okay,
And now they just approved the ordinance as amended.
okay, thank you.
All right, we're on to item 13.3, resolutions of public hearing. Item 13.3.1, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, approving the application submitted by Stephen W. Luswell on behalf of the Tanja Land 712 LLC to reduce the side setback to 2 feet where the minimum allowable is 7.5 feet, and to reduce the rear setback to 4 feet where the minimum allowable is 20 feet for the proposed airport warehouse project on the property located on Northwest 37th Avenue and Northwest 154 Terrace, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Vice Mayor.
Yeah, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Vice Mayor, may I approach the podium? Because this is in my way.
Yes.
All right, as the city manager approaches, this would be the time to do any possible Jennings disclosure on this item.
Yeah, can you go over the Jennings disclosure so everybody understands? Madam.
Pretty much during Jennings disclosure, the council would have to indicate whether they've had any ex parte communications on this item and whether the decisions that they make tonight will be based on the evidence presented before them.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. It's on you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, council members, I want to give you a little perspective on this item and really give you a little perspective on what we do and how we handle development issues in the city of Miami Gardens. And it relates to this item because this item has gone through a process that now requires you to take action because it's with this process means that we reach everything that we can do to move forward with this item. It needs your vote and not my authority. My authority from a threshold point is 25% of an issue, and or that item is not within my purview to make recommendations or move forward with, I have to bring it to council. We have what we have. We have in the city of Miami Gardens a public-private development roundtable. That roundtable is made up of the city manager, city attorney, code enforcement, building, planning and zoning, public works. We all sit as a group and we take in projects that are interested in the city of Miami Gardens. When those projects come in, we analyze them, we talk about them, Sometimes we tell people no. Sometimes we tell them to do certain things to make the project more amenable to what we want in the city of Miami Gardens. And we also give analytical information regarding that project. So if the project is going to create some sort of traffic, we may ask for a traffic plan. If it's a site plan issue, we may ask for things in the site plan. One of the critical things that we have on that development roundtable is that we have a representative from the police department, and that person that is on that roundtable is certified in crime prevention through environmental design. He or she can look at a plan and determine where lights, landscaping, window treatment, all those things that are needed in a development moving forward to ensure that that's going to be a safe environment that they're developing in, and the building itself will be a safe building moving forward. In addition to that, a number of individuals who come through our doors through this process, we actually walk them over to the Real-Time Crime Center. And then they have an ability to understand what the Real-Time Crime Center is all about, and they can actually tap into our Real-Time Crime Center regarding emergency issues and just general safety about their building. This item has gone through that process. So it's been reviewed by the manager, it's been reviewed by the city attorney, public works, building, etc. It's before you today because it's beyond my threshold, and or it's beyond what the statute says that it has to come before you. It's a minimum requirement to waive. It'll give this applicant the ability to build in an area where there's some transition happening. I think the transition in that area is beginning to look more industrial, but more light industrial, and somewhat cleaning up in that area. So I wanted to give you that perspective because I think when we brought this item before you the first time, there were some questions about what was going on, and there was questions we probably should have the applicant answer rather than we answer. But I wanted you to understand that this application has gone through a process where we've vetted everything, and now we're at a point where the mayor and council, vice mayor and council members need to make a decision if we should waive those requirements going forward. With that, Mr. Vice Mayor, I'll answer any questions if you have regarding on that process. Nikisha can go over some specifics, and or you can ask the applicant questions that you wanted to ask before.
Okay, council, let's move the item first. So I'm gonna need a motion, and then once we, after we move the item, then we can open it up for discussion.
Motion.
It's been moved in second. Any questions?
Yes. Mr. Vice
Councilman.
Mayor? My question is, I want to know exactly what is the plan for that area or that business as it relates to what it is that the owners or the company plan on doing on that property.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, members of the council. I'm Joseph Geller from the law firm of Greenspoon Martyr. I'm the attorney for the project, 200 East Broward Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33301. And with me is the project architect, Mr. Stephan Lasseau, council member. The owner is planning to build warehouses, commercial warehouses. The area is frequented by warehouses. That's why they're seeking the setbacks to match the warehouses around there. Exactly who will rent that space, they'll find out, I guess, when they get it built and it's now vacant land, and open it up for rent. But, you know, your city code is very specific about what is and what is not permitted. And certainly it would they won't get a certificate of use or anything like that, or a business tax receipt, unless they present that information and the city staff determines what specific tenant will be there and approves it as being within your code. It's about the best answer I can give.
Right. So just for clarification purposes, currently, right now, the owners is only looking to build and then eventually lease out to companies or whomever may be interested in that area according to the city code. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And the reason why the setback, Mr. Manager, or whomever, the setback is necessary is because it's a tight piece. Is it a tight area? Is it because of that vacant? And the architect maybe can answer and describe that to me, please.
It is a tight
My name is Stefan Loiseau.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
My name is Stefan Loiseau. I'm the project architect. The property, the site is very tight, and that's the best use of the property. In view of the configuration, it's a cul-de-sac lot at the end, and we're very limited on access and where we can place the building.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Mr. Vice Mayor.
So I have a question. So you're gonna build them with no idea as to who's gonna rent them?
I think the answer would be that we expect to have the same tenants that the warehouses next door and next door to that and next door to that.
Well, that's a lot. It's a huge variety, right? And so if you are coming into an area, you have some idea about who you're gonna lease to or what the demand is. I'd like to know for you to kind of explain to me what you think you're gonna be able to get in there. And you said 6 bays?
I'm going to let you answer that, Mr. Loiseau.
Well, from my discussion with the owner,
Mhm.
whatever opportunity he would have to find a tenant is that the zoning would allow, he would do it. But this warehouse is a storage warehouse where we're gonna store low hazard, non-hazardous, non-flammable storage.
Here's my concern, city manager, in about that area. It's the same concern that I have about a couple of other warehouses that are in the area. One is overall lighting, right? And when we bring warehouses that come in with large trucks and that come in at certain evenings, like when we go back in October and the time changes and it gets dark and we have the setback closer to the road, than normal, we end up with other hazardous issues that are very difficult for residents to sometimes adjust to when a new facility comes into an area. And so then we end up with other kind of mitigating issues that along that 37th Avenue corridor, with the traffic picking up because of Amazon and all of those kinds of issues, we end up with, and I think that this is right on 37th, if I'm not mistaken, right? So we end up with some other kinds of things. And, generally, it wouldn't bother me one way or the other if it were, the setback were granted or not. But I do know that area and that traffic in there it's getting tight. 18-wheelers are coming down 37th Avenue. In Amazon, other trucks are coming down, and that may or may not be your issue. I get it, but it is ours. So I want to know, like, when we take a look at this light warehouse with 6 bays, we don't know what's going to go in there. We don't know. They're not storefront related kind of factory, right? Help me with that.
Yeah. Well, let me say that first of all, the site is going to be accessed through the cul-de-sac. So you won't have the traffic running up and down the 37th Avenue area. That some of that will be mitigated through that process. The other thing that you have in place is this. A lot of times when folks come and build, this is wherever, they build spec buildings with the thought that they'll build the building and then they'll recruit customers or tenants to those sites. In that area, it's predominantly industrial types of uses. So I don't anticipate anything that is going to create a lot of traffic based on the fact that the buildings themselves are really going to be storage. You may have things that happen on a day-to-day basis, but from a traffic standpoint, I think you're going to have a low traffic area. But let me get to the part, and I understand your point. Let me get to the part regarding the fact that there's a new building, new opportunities, and things of that nature. We want that, but at the same time, we are making sure that they are going to meet certain requirements from lighting, landscaping, and things of that nature, so that we're not going to have any safety issues down the road regarding those folks moving in and out of that area. So I think what they're doing is okay. I think it meets the requirements that they need to meet. What we can do is we'll look at the site plan again, because that's where we have to tie everything into it. We'll look at the site plan again. If we need to put some additional public safety measures in place, we can do that, certainly.
Will you share that with me?
I sure will.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Mr. Manager, the only question that I have is if this building is built by this company or anyone that, builds in that area, will the city recoup any taxes from any property or building or business that will go in this site?
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Go ahead, Mr.
Absolutely. It's currently a vacant piece of property. Once built, it will generate some tax revenues back to the city.
Any other questions? So there's no more questions, Mr. Clerk. We're ready for the vote.
Yes.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson, Councilwoman Gadaro,
Yes.
Councilwoman Julian,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leon.
Vote yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you all very much. Good evening.
All right,
Thank you.
we're now on to reports of the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk.
Mr. Clerk.
No reports.
Thank you. Ms. City Attorney.
No report, but I'd like to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager.
No report.
Thank you. Councilman Stevens.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. My report is as followed. On last week, Tuesday, June 15th, my office hosted a World Elder Abuse Awareness Day Fair. The event took place at Betty T. Ferguson and received tremendous support from our senior community. So I want to say a huge thank you to all of our vendors that came out to provide our senior community with the important information and resources to help avoid abuse, neglect, or corruption. I also attended the senior prom hosted by Councilwoman Igadaro, as well as our Parks Department, and it was a wonderful event. The seniors that came out to participate enjoyed themselves. So thank you to everyone, for our city staff and everyone that worked to put those events together. I must give a big kudos to Councilwoman Wilson, myself, and Vice Mayor Leon. Had a pleasure to work side Councilwoman Wilson, leading the efforts to pull forth our first annual Juneteenth Park and Party event this past Saturday. Her and Councilwoman and her staff led the event and the planning and the execution of it. So kudos to you all. A big shout out to Jamal, who worked extremely long hours to make sure that this was a success, and to all of our city staff, from Parks and Recs to PD to our public affairs, public works. All of you all did a fantastic job, and I must express my sincere gratitude toward each of you for your labor and your dedication to ensuring that our residents have a wonderful experience for our first, which I believe would be our annual Juneteenth celebration. Additional events and programs that's coming forth from my office for the month of July and August. Did I miss something? Sorry, I'm going to go back up. The following event, the month of June, I'm excited to announce that we will be hosting a job fair and Miami-Dade College Day in Miami Gardens, scheduled for Friday, July 16th, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at Betty T. Ferguson Complex. This event would present our residents with the direct access to education programs and local employers seeking new hires. Additional events and programming that's coming forth from my office in the month of July and August. We would be hosting a community legal clinic and resource fair taking place in late July in partnership with Florida Justice Center, as well as a back to school giveaway and community queue taking place in August. I want to remind everyone that in partnership with Miami-Dade College Medical Campus, my office is currently accepting applications for from the Higher Education Initiative Certificate Scholarship Program. Applicants can be submitted on our city webpage for medical assisting, massage therapy, or phlebotomy certificate programs. This opportunity requires only a high school diploma or a GED from accredited institution, and I encourage all of our residents to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity. The deadline is actually tomorrow, June 24th at 4 p.m. So you all have just a little bit more time, if you haven't already, to apply to take advantage of these resources. Should you have any questions or comments regarding anything that I mentioned, you can contact my office and speak with Mr. Cameron Floyd at 305-622-8000, extension 2831. Mr. Vice Mayor, that ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Ighodaro.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Good evening. I would like to commend the City of Miami Gardens on having the foresight to enact Juneteenth as a city holiday in Miami Gardens, a year before the national government made it a federal holiday. So kudos. And also the Juneteenth celebration appeared to be a big success. Congratulations. I would also like to thank everyone who came out to support the senior prom. I was happy to host that event at the newly built Bunch Park Recreational Center. We had over 250 seniors come out and enjoy the event. It was actually the first in-person event held at the beautiful facility. It was an outside event. We were blessed with great weather, have a lot of great pictures, public affairs. Those pictures are on the way. And I'd also like to thank my council colleagues, Robert Stevens and Linda Julian, Councilwoman Julian, for coming out to support the event. We hope to be indoors for next year senior prom. We will be having our first in-person Unity Town Hall meeting on Wednesday, July 7th at 6 p.m. at the Bunch Park Recreational Center. For information, you can call my office and speak to my aide, Mr. Vernon Martin. We will also have live stream and via Zoom for those who would like to join us online. And finally, as we prepare for the birthday of America, 4th of July, I would like to wish a happy birthday to everyone born in June and July, and also a happy 4th to everyone. And I'd also like to encourage our residents to be safe and enjoy the fireworks, and also join us as we celebrate at Calder our fireworks presentation. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wilson.
I too would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone in the city of Miami Gardens. Number one, my number one cheerleader, I am for Parks and Recreation. They have always do a top-notch job with everything. I want to thank also this dais for your support and your trust and your tolerance through Juneteenth, as we planned an event that we weren't sure how it was going to come out because we had never done it before. But because this is a team that works hard and a team that can see a vision, we were able to take it and carry it across the finish line with a tremendous amount of pride and success. We had an overwhelming response from our community. We had over 1,000 cars that registered. We had families. We had a tremendous lineup with artists that were from this place that we call home, and that's Miami Gardens. And nobody but the Lord allowed it to happen in a way where the federal government would at the same time declare it a national holiday in the first time that this city had hosted such an event. But it was filled with abundance, and it was filled with love, and it was filled with the seed of this city. So from the food vendors to which is what Rashad Thomas and his wife put together, from the vendors with Sam of My by Melanin put together, from the families that showed up. It was an incredible, some people call it energy, but I like to call it spirit. It was an incredible spirit, and we had an incredible time. And I am blessed, as I have always said, to be able to be in a place like this in this city, not only in this building with the people that I work with and that who work with me, but also in this city, because there is a tremendous abundance and tremendous life and tremendous blessings that are here. And so I want to thank you all, and I'm going to call you by your names, okay? The city manager, it starts with you. And so I want to thank you for your leadership, and I want to thank you for your guidance and always being in the shadows. I mean, just a shadow away. I feel your presence throughout the whole thing, and I want to personally say thank you. To Vanita, I want to thank you for your shadowing, because we had never dealt with artists before, but your experience got us through that. Sonia isn't here, but I want to thank her for her legal background in helping us with that. You know, I know that sometimes to call a person's name, it can take up a little time, but not to call a person's name can also hurt their feelings. So I want to take the time to be able to say thank you to Bernard, because you moved those barricades 100 times in order for us to figure out how those cars needed to be parked. And those are things that people don't see. But I appreciate you and Public Works for coming out there and getting the water off of the parking lot so that the people would have a dry space. Those are things that people don't see. They don't see the police department huddled in prayer and huddled in their roll call. And when you have that many people, you don't have an incident. Now that's serious. You don't have an incident. You had peace. So I want to commend you. I want to commend you, and I don't want to take it for granted, because that doesn't happen in every city in this county. I want to thank Mr. Ivy. I want to thank my council members here, because when you're under pressure, you can bust. So you guys, y'all hung with me, and I appreciate you tremendously for your support. And to my lovely assistant, Jamal Ingram, who has been putting in the hours. We have been here almost to sunrise, to sunset, to sunrise, but he was great. To Drummer Boy Productions, they have been awesome. I can't tell you what his level of experience is, and that experience helped him to be able to help us. So my final point, okay, I'm almost there. My final point is this, is that we have everything we need here. The talent base, the intelligentsia, the blessings, we have it here. The people of Miami Gardens are our greatest resource. Don't underestimate yourself, and don't underestimate where we're headed, because the trajectory of this city is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I want to also concur with my colleague is saying, because Miami Gardens is definitely a place where you can eat, work, and play. I too, and along with the mayor and my colleagues, we had the Baja's reunion, and it was very well attended, and people are really excited and talking about those old school cars. So I appreciate all those that came out. We had our vice chair from Miami-Dade County, Commissioner Oliver Gilbert. He was there. Our former Senator Oscar Brannon attended, and also my colleagues on the dais. We had Mr. Robert Stevens, Councilwoman Shannon Igador, and also Vice Chair Reginald Leon, and our Mayor Rodney Harris attended. We had our charter officers. We had Mario, our city clerk, We also had the city manager, and we also had our city attorney, Sonia Dickens. So I thank all of you that attended and came out. And we had attendees from as young as, I would say the youngest was about 3 or 4 years old, to the eldest being 91.
Wow.
And the lady that was 91, she was dressed to the nines. She was so excited to get out. She said she had been tired of sitting in the house because of the pandemic. So that alone just brought me joy to see her out. And she was dressed. And she said she had a grand old time. I had the opportunity to speak with her at length at the event. But thank you. But more importantly, I want to thank two entities that really go above and beyond. And that is, the first one is Parks and Recs Department. I mean, I have the utmost respect for them, and I always did, and I always gave them kudos. And as I was at Buccaneer Park, they have a sign that's posted inside the park, and it reads, and I'm going to read it verbatim. It says, "In Miami Gardens, our parks and recreation story is we don't do average, we do awesome." And I said, that's it, hands down. They are there prior to your event, they're there setting up. They're there during your event, and they're there after breaking down.
That's right.
I was like, I have the utmost respect for them now. I really do. And I appreciate you guys. Continue doing your work. And it's just the way they work together. I like what I see. That's very important when you could just come to work and work like they do and work as one unit. I think, I could go on forever, but I'm not. And the other entity is Miami Gardens Police Department. I got to lean back on that one. Hands down. You guys are the other entity that I bow down to you. And I mean that with sincerity. I do. You guys are the same token. You are the most hardest working people. You put yourselves at risk. You handle situations that need to be handled very quietly and peacefully. And both events went out without no shootings, no major incidents. I found that was very, very, very amazing. And to the news reporters, report that.
Report that.
And the last thing I want to close with saying is, continue to keep my family in prayer. Please do that for me. Vice Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Julian.
I don't have a report tonight, Mr. Vice Chair, but I do have a question for the city clerk. We all know that there was an organization that had put out a recall. What is the name of that organization, and what is the status of that recall for some of our residents who aren't clear on what the status of the recall is? Where are we at with that? Or where are they? Let me not say we. Where are they at with the recall efforts that they were doing for certain members on this council?
Mr. Vice Mayor?
Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
I can't speak as to where they are with the recall effort. They haven't turned in anything to my office.
Okay.
So my office can't even start the process of any recall effort. So I can't speak to where they are with regards to the recall.
Okay. Keep us posted.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you. My report, I send the same sentiments to the entire Miami Gardens family for everything that you're doing outside of Juneteenth, but everything that we do every day around here. We're like, I guess that's why we're the All-American city. We're able to push thousands of people through this city during Juneteenth, whether it was the concert, the bike ride, the Baja's reunion with the fancy cars with the hoods up. We were able to move a lot of people through the city safely. And like Councilwoman Campbell said, they won't report that, but we were doing an excellent job with our events and media department, Tamara and Tanya, of telling those stories. We got national recognition for a Juneteenth event through Essence Magazine, and through that, other organizations picked it up and was calling, doing interviews. The media was there, and we're getting an opportunity to tell our story. So I just want to thank everybody for what you're doing and continue to do the wonderful work. With that being said, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Show yourself adjourned.